very gendered in the way that they reacted?
For me, before we did the experiment, like while we were trying to figure out different things to do, I kind of liked this experiment because I have been catcalled at before, and it was kind of my way of like giving them a taste of their own medicine, kind of. I thought it was going to be kind of fun in that sense, and just do something out of the norm. But like today, right before we did it, I did feel pretty anxious and a little uncomfortable, and during it I did feel uncomfortable, like Sidney said, we were laughing, which may have been a way of us dealing with that uncomfortableness. But I also didn't really want people to think I was like a lustful person by like catcalling at them and like, damn, you got a nice butt, like, you know. But I also thought it was funny in that sense too. But while we were sitting there, I did feel like kind of like a certain like type of power, like by doing that and like telling the guys like, you know, catcalling at them. I did have like a sense of power, like in sitting in like a masculine stance and stuff. But after, I just honestly felt happy and relieved we got it over with. So yeah, and yeah.
So to conclude, we wanted to breach the idea that makeup was a feminine art or a feminine norm. That's why we had Andrew put on makeup and walk around to gauge people's reactions. In our own experiences, Andrew actually told me that his parents didn't mind him wearing makeup, but for me, my parents would have disowned me right from the get-go. If I had brush and blushed my face, my parents would have, they would not have taken it with a grain of salt. They would.
Do you think they would have like questioned?
They would question my sexuality. They would question my manhood. They would question me being their son.
Oh, wow.
Oh, geez.
That's intense.
But from our experiment, from the people that we interviewed, Andrew sort of dismantled that idea, but it was such a small sample size. It was only 6 people that we interviewed or approached that is not necessarily representative of what a mass society would feel about a man wearing makeup. You could also say that a lot of people may, for example, one of the respondents actually said if he were to see a man wearing makeup, he would thought he was an actor or going to a movie theater. But other than that, people aren't really expecting men to wear makeup or do effeminate obstructions to themselves.
Also, Sidney and I actually talked to some other girls who spoke to Andrew, and we asked them about it. And one of the girls, she kind of thought maybe he was coming from theater or something. And like they said before, they were fine with it. They were receptive of it, which guys probably wouldn't have reacted the same way. And also, Sidney, you also talked about how you like how he's dressing very masculine, but he's also wearing makeup too.
Yeah, I think that like shows also like the fact that he is a heterosexual man wearing makeup, more so than like if he had gone full out. I feel like he would have like in like worn women's clothes, he would have been perceived differently than if he was just wearing the clothes he's wearing now and wearing makeup. I think that also is an interesting aspect of it. But like our conclusions.
So for the experiment that we went through with, I feel like the men may have been a bit taken aback by it because they don't really get commented on how they look or their physical appearance, you know. Also, the fact that we're both females, it's women aren't really deemed as being threatening, you know, as men generally are. And those, like, we only catcalled young adults, so it may have been different if we catcalled older people, they may have reacted way different. So yeah, and how we dress may have impacted it as well, because this is what we're wearing, very feminine, so as that plays in with us, like, not looking very threatening, and yeah.
And,
Also,
you go ahead.
mind if I interject?
No, that's fine.
Also going off about what Amy said about men being catcalled, I felt it was very bizarre that men were more receptive to it, as a lot of men would prefer a lot more women to go and flirt with them and go and talk to them and engage with them and try to get their number and try to start up a relationship with them. But I guess since it's not necessarily the gender norm, they didn't know how to receive it. Actually, and also going off of Amy saying the way they were dressed, they didn't seem threatening. If men were to be approached by someone they were attracted to, you think they'd be
Very grateful too.
not so insulated, but they probably would have felt threatened, which they said they were more of a mixed reaction. They weren't really threatened. But I felt that men would really prefer women to be able to engage with them more often as well.
For sure. And one thing that I think should be said for all of in conclusion, for all of our work in this gender breach assignment, and all of our reactions and results, is that UNCG, as like a university, I feel like is more diverse than a lot of other universities, and also the population is mostly women. It's like predominantly a school that's predominantly women, and also it's very accepting of, it's very diverse, and I feel like it's a more accepting environment of, you know, people who are different. So it really was interesting to me, you know, granted that a lot of women were very accepting. That could be explained by how women are socialized to be more accepting, but it also could be explained by, you know, the fact that we're in an environment where people are more typically accepting of difference, especially when in terms of gender norms. You know, the point of us doing the catcalling wasn't necessarily to promote catcalling. Definitely was not to promote it. It was more so to kind of point out the fact that even for like women or men, you know, especially even men, overall nobody really likes to be put on the spot like that. Most people, you know, even though they've smiled and moved on, you know, there's definitely an aspect to that where you could tell that they were somewhat uncomfortable with being put on the spot. And I think that really, like, goes to show, you know, like, how catcalling as, like, the culture of catcalling, kind of, like, what it produces in women, the kind of feelings that it produces in women with being put on the spot. Yeah, that just kind of goes along with women being more objectified as well. So, yeah, but that was our gender breach assignment.